Hey, Happy Crew, Happy Days. So in today's video, we are doing the grand finale of Grand Party Season 39. So unfortunately, as I was recording these videos, something happened to the second video. So the second fight you will not see. It wasn't really that exciting anyway. It was against a rare recruit, Sugar, as the captain. So really nothing kind of too crazy or too spectacular there. So apologies for that. But to make it up for you, you're going to see me fight against two burst captains. So make sure when you guys are done your matches for the day, change your captain to a non-burst captain. Help everyone get the 15 out of 15, unlike the first couple of guys you'll see here. But with that being said, let's hop right into the matches and see how we did on the final day. Were we able to get the full rewards or not? Alright, so let's get into the first match of the day. Let's see who we have, and... oof, that's brutal. Yeah, all burst captains, don't like it. I gotta take on the Luffy, Zoro, Sanji just because they have 3 bursts as opposed to 4 with Kizaru. Not really looking forward to here. Obviously, they get their special charge by doing attacks. I think for them, with the rule set, they probably only need like 6 or 7 attacks in order to really get their burst gauge charged. So kind of the strategy going in here is I have kind of the anti-shooter team. So hopefully we can kind of kill this team quickly. Their burst special of the Zoro, Luffy, Sanji ends up doing damage to defense, and also if you have, I think it's strength, quick, or int, it does like a fixed 5,000 damage. So obviously with a bunch of int, a bunch of strength, a bunch of quick on the team, that's definitely not ideal for us. So we're able to luckily do enough damage there to get our special off pretty quick. Their burst charge is there at full, so obviously we have to watch out for that. Blackbeard's here really just helping get the CT down. It'd be great if we could take a burst. It looks like it's about 99% filled, but it should get filled in just a second here. If they don't use their burst here, it's going to make this match a lot harder going forward. And it looks like we're probably going to wipe them out with the boa here, which isn't good. Yeah, so hopefully they use their special here. That would be fantastic if they could use their burst here on us. But it's not going to happen. I think Luffy's going to kill him here. So that's definitely not an ideal situation at all. That means that we have to take a bunch of bursts in the second battle. So I'm going to stick with keeping the Dex team in this second slot. We know that that's going to be a side team in the middle. And it has Garp on there who can do the death hit. So, and of course the Nami who can do the massive special rewind. Now the good news here is we do have a burst ready to go, so we can kind of stop them from going. So we're going to take a burst right off rip. Like, we can't stop that from happening. But the game strategy here would be, okay, we want to stop them from doing hits, because hits are what helps charge their gauge. So usually in this case, I wouldn't use my special until much closer to the end, right, when kind of everyone had their specials and was ready to go. But in this case, that just really won't work, because if we give them more chances to hit, they're going to use their burst literally as soon as it gets ready. And you can see their first hit here just did a absolute ton of damage against us. So we're just going to go ahead and use it now, even though, you know, it's not the best ideal situation that we're going through here. A bunch of special bind. Garp unfortunately didn't get blocked, so that means when he goes, he's probably going to fill up the gauge. And he's just going to do a bunch of nasty attacks, which isn't great. We're going to take the burst here. Probably going to lose most of this whole front line. Kizaru with the death hit might save us a little bit. He's going to charge that burst gauge pretty far. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to really do anything. So all we can do is skip. Now, they have 1 burst gauge left, and it's about halfway charged, right? So at all costs here, I have to stop them from going as much as I can. Unfortunately, again, it's a Dex team. So it's a super bulky team. So instead of kind of waiting till their specials are just about ready to go, I'm going to kick this off as soon as I can. The only benefit I have of this team is that with the units on the front here, my CT speed should be pretty crazy up. So the goal here is hopefully I can bind a bunch of them or paralyze a bunch of them so they can't get their attacks off. And if I can get Luffy to go, if I can get Mars to go, that should be enough for me to kind of eke out the win there. Without hopefully them getting their burst gauge charged at all. So that's what we're doing here. S39 comes in, confusion, some special rewind. Love to see that. Mars is just going to come in and just absolute decimate. So yeah, as soon as we get our special for Kizaru charged, we're going to use it. It'll probably be when the next special goes off. I think you get a 30% damage from the special here. Let's see if that's the case. Awesome, perfect. Yeah, so we're just going to use our special right here. That will go ahead and kill the rest of the units that are hopefully on the field. Okay, it didn't kill all the units, but once Luffy goes, it's pretty much over at that point. They don't have any people going before we go, so that's good. That means that their burst gauge will stay exactly where it is. Luffy's going to hit like an absolute tank, being level 150. Love to see that. Dalton here is just kind of holding on as much as he can. Doesn't want to die, but ultimately there's going to be nothing that he's going to be able to do to stop us. And pretty much 1 or 2 more hits, and we'll be in great shape here. Again, everyone's just kind of piling on him, unfortunately, but enough to go ahead and get the kill, secure that first win of the day, which is huge. But again, change your captains to non-burst captains when you're done for the day. Just help everyone get to 15 out of 15. It's just a real pain to deal with these burst captains. So that being said, again, we're going to go into the next battle. Unfortunately, the recording didn't work, but it was a rare recruit. So let's just hop into the final battle of the day, fight number 14 against another burst captain, and see how it went. Alright, so for the final fight of the day, let's see who the burst captains are that we're going to have to face. Not great. So out of the 3, Luffy's probably the least scary. He still does get 3 charges because of the rule set for this season, so that's unfortunate. He gets his burst gauge charged by doing damage, so as we do more damage, he's going to probably use his special. So ideally, if we get a special kicked off on the first stage, that would be the best case scenario. Again, I'm having my in-team go first. 1, because they have the death hit from both Roger and Yamato, so that will basically guarantee that I can at least get my burst off for Kizaru. It's against strength first. Now, obviously, I didn't know it was going to that, but luckily they're a very squishy team, so if I use 1 Kizaru special, I should be able to pretty much take them out, especially if Roger goes either with his death hit or with the normal hit. It should be more than enough to go ahead and get us over the finish line to get that victory for the first fight, and then it puts us in a real great position for all the fights going forward. We're going to get absolute shellacking here by Luffy. He does kill Yamato, so she's going to give the buffs and then the 7,500 damage, kicks 1 out, gets our burst gauge charge, which is perfect. Couldn't ask for a better outcome there. We'll use this. I don't know if we'll kill everyone on the bench, but we should take out at least a number of units that you see here. Buggy got killed, Kuma got killed, love to see that. And at this point, there's really nothing they can do, right? We have the death hit of the Roger, and then we'd have a burst if that went off. So at this point, there's really nothing to worry about. We're just kind of waiting to see if he uses the burst here before we kind of skip to the end and go to the next fight. But luckily for us, that exactly is what happened. Boom, we used the Roger death hit to get through the content without too many problems, and we got our burst gauge charge going into fight number 2. So for fight number 2, obviously if I can end the fight quickly, I will, but I do want to at least, try to bait out the 2 bursts on this fight. That way, we don't have to worry. Now, luckily, we happen to face a quick team here. Obviously, with the Dex team, we have that huge advantage going in our favor. So the strategy here going into that was I will wait till their specials are just about ready to get kicked off. Use our special. That will trigger the enemy's burst. He'll use it on us. And then it's kind of off to the races. If, Kaido goes, if Jupiter goes, if Ace goes, they're just going to absolutely just destroy everything that's left. Again, we have the death hit for Kizaru, if he does happen to die, to charge the burst gauge, so not too worried about what's going on here. This is the shot from that INT Luffy, so obviously did a ton of damage, which wasn't great, but now we're kind of on the offensive, just waiting for our specials to get going. Looks like probably Ace is going to be the next to get his special off, and you're going to see he's just going to absolutely destroy them. With the defense down from Ace, the defense down from the Caesar, it's just not fair. We're going to take the burst here because we end up charging their burst gauge to full, but I think we can get ours off before they get theirs off, which would be perfect. So, sorry, they actually did end up using their burst gauge there. So yeah, at this point, there's nothing for us to worry about. We have a full team of 5 in the front bench. Use our Kizaru special, boom, everyone gets knocked out, and at that point, Jupiter just kind of seals it with that final hit. Gives us the second win of the final match of the day to get us to 15 out of 15 and make us have a perfect season. So again, a lot of this would have been a lot easier if people had set a recruit friend captain at the beginning, but unfortunately some people just don't do that, so that make sure that when you are done for the day, go in, set your captain to a non-burst captain, help everyone get that 15 out of 15 wins, make it a little bit easier, especially on that last day when you can't quite see the team. So as you see here, I'm just going in, I'm just going to auto-edit this team, just switch any low unit here. I'm just going to choose this kind of level 1 Garp that we have here, and let him kind of run it at that point and let people fight these teams, which are not really that scary. That Mel team is made a little bit scary, but those other teams are not scary at all and should be pretty easy. So That being said, that's going to wrap up the season. Let me know how your season went. Did you have any surprises? I'm sure a lot of people fought a lot of Kaidos and a lot of Kazarus. So let me know how your season went. Were you able to get the 15 on 15? Was there any kind of surprises that you saw on there? Would love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, be kind to each other. Thanks.